down. So all these disadvantages are there. So
you are on live streaming videos.
Prabhu, why to put me in live stream?
No, daily like this only nowadays. We're not recording, so that whoever wants,
Okay.
you can take it from your YouTube live link and give to them. That's what we are doing.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
fine. So Hare Krishna, Ayan, how are you?
Yes, Matika. Hi. Hare Krishna, Matika. Hello,
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna,
Matika.
Dandavat Pranam, Dandavat Pranam. Yes. Yeah, so today our verse for the Srimad Bhagavatam is Canto 3, Chapter 27. Yeah, Prabhu. Text.
Chapter 32.
Sorry, Chapter 32, 37.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we just start our service to the Srimad Bhagavatam with our invocation prayers today. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Srimad Bhagavatam Gantraj ki jai, Shri Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Nitai Gaur Sitanath Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. So today our verse for the Srimad Bhagavatam is Canto 3, Chapter 32, Text 37. We'll just read the verse together. Prabhocham Bhakti Yogasya Swarupam te chaturvidham kalasya chavyakta gatir yontadhavati jantusu. My dear mother, I have explained to you the process of devotional service and its identity in 4 different social divisions. I have explained to you as well how eternal time is chasing living entities, although it is imperceptible to them. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Devotees can please read the purport.
Can I read, Madhuri?
Yes, Prabhu, please.
Purport by His Grand Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Vishnu Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Yes, Srila
The
Prabhupada.
process of Bhakti Yoga, devotional service, is the main river flowing down towards the sea of the absolute truth. And all other processes mentioned are just like tributaries. Lord Kapila is summarizing the importance of process of devotional service. Bhakti Yoga, as described before, is divided into 4 divisions, 3 in the material modes of nature and 1 in the transcendence, which is untinged by the modes of material nature. Devotional service mixed with the modes of material nature is a means of material existence, whereas devotional service without desire for fruitive results and without attempts for empirical philosophical research is pure transcendental devotional service. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, Om Jnanatimrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Shri. Hare Krishna. So, today our verse for the Srimad Bhagavatam is actually a conversation between a mother and a son. Now, this conversation which happens between this mother and the son is actually a very healthy conversation, quite unlike what happens nowadays in Kali Yuga. Nowadays in Kali Yuga, It is very sad to say that the parents do not have time to coach their child much in Krishna consciousness or in God consciousness. It's not necessarily Krishna consciousness, even in God consciousness. It is just whatever training so far the child is getting spiritually, that is mainly based upon certain wrong beliefs. But now we see here in the service that of what a mother has actually done to a child is that when the child is in the womb itself, the mother has very clearly delineated what is the function of a mother who is carrying her child in the womb. Now, right from womb to tomb, we all have certain samskaras which has to be followed. And Mother Devahuti, though quite a capable lady, though a heavenly damsel, and everything, still she had done the proper rituals to beget her children. This is the thing which is actually quite lacking in Kali Yuga, because nowadays in Kali Yuga, the parents are not spiritually inclined, neither are they spiritually educated. Now, being spiritually educated can happen to that soul only if that soul is really fortunate enough. It is just like you get a lottery ticket come true. So in the same way, Mother Devahuti had very clearly trained her son, Kapila Deva, and as per that, because of that particular effect is what she is also receiving that mercy. We all know that we need to have children. But we do not know, what we do not know actually is how to bring up children. That's why always it is said, no, creation and destruction is quite an easy task. But maintenance is really very difficult, and therefore Lord Vishnu has taken up the maintenance. No other Devi Devatas have taken up this maintenance task. So in the same way, this maintenance is actually to be taken by us devotees, wherein we have to take up this maintenance of human life very, very seriously. Anybody can take birth. Anybody can leave the body through the process of death. All these are very easy. But to maintain ourselves is where the whole challenge lies. And only the intelligent can do that. We all know that, about these different types of suicides. So suicide is what? Suicide is I'm not able to maintain this body with the soul. I am going against the laws of nature, and then I am activating it on my body, thinking that this body is mine or that I am this body. So that is not the case. We cannot shuffle the laws of material nature. If the law of material nature has decided this is our birth date and this is our expiry date, no doctors, no syringes, no medicines can go against it. This is the truth. In the same way, this mother is actually taking a good counseling or a good education from her son. How is it possible? Because it is what she had given to him at the time of his birth. It is just like, what we teach the children right from their tender age. Tomorrow, when we become of a tender age, which is actually old age, when we become of that flexible or rather non-flexible age, at that time, they will return this causeless mercy of God consciousness to us. They will remind us what we taught them, because we never remember anything. We are good at, we human beings have a very bad quality. We are good as an orator, but we are not good as a practitioner. We always orate. It is very easy to become a leader who has a mic in front and just orate. Orators are there plenty, but the true player is the practitioner. Very easy. This particular example is that when we go to see a cricket match, we know that there are so many viewers, but there are only 12 to 15 players there down. So practitioners are very less. Once we come into Krishna consciousness, we have to see that we become the practitioner. Once we are a thorough practitioner, then through our practices or through our regular deeds itself, people will come into Krishna consciousness because we set an example towards them. So rather than verbally saying, let us do and attract people into Krishna consciousness. That is how it should be. Like we always tell that if there is a good teacher, she doesn't have to keep on speaking a lot. Through just by means of her deeds, the students follow and they try or they start to like that particular subject. And just because of attachment towards the teacher, the student tops up in that particular subject. This is the same thing. So here, Mother Devahuti had taught Kapila Dev very beautifully into all the precepts of Krishna consciousness. But at times what happens is that when we get the same reverberation back of what we had preached, when we get the same reverberation back, it is not to be considered as an insult, but it is to be considered as a revamping. I am just reminded of what I had given to the others. It is said, no, as you sow, so shall you reap. If you have sown good things, you get back, you reap that, you harvest it off. But if you have sown bad things, you have to harvest that also off. That is what this material nature's character itself is. If I have sown sunflower seeds, I'm not going to get lotus plants. It is not there. I'll get only sunflowers. That is it. So that is the rule of this particular material nature. Now here, Mother Devahuti had really taught all her children into the different precepts of Krishna consciousness. So once when her children, or like Kapila Dev, had come up to that particular standard of preaching, so she asked or clarified all her spiritual doubts with him. And she was quite satisfied with the answers of her son. Now see, it is not that Mother Devahuti didn't know the answers to it, but when she saw that her children are capable or her child is capable, so at that time her curiousness or her curiosity aroused more on the spiritual platform, because his way of devotional service was totally different from her way of devotional service. So therefore it got aroused, and then she clarified her doubts with Kapila Dev. In such a situation, what happened is that those who are even like people like us, those who are even hearing this particular process of where Kapila Dev speaks about the beauty of Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is so versatile. It doesn't have one single room. It has a whole world itself. And that is what the fame of Bhakti Yoga is. And what about the process of Bhakti Yoga? Susukam kartum avyayam. It is so sweet, nectarine, and so easy to transcend. But we feel that sometimes Bhakti Yoga is not easy to transcend. Why is that so? That is because our mind creates so much of obstacles in front of our practicing Bhakti Yoga. Think about simple thing. Even if suppose it's early morning and then I have to go to the office, what do? I sometimes bring up excuses for me that I do not want to go so that I can take a leave. So this is how the material aspect of the world is. But the spiritual aspect of the world is so maduram, madurebhyopi. Anywhere you take up this Bhakti Yoga system. Okay, I don't want to start chanting and then go into ISKCON devotees and all that. But I would like to first go and have the food that they are giving us. Okay, that is fine. So we go and taste the prasadam. I'm not interested in chanting. Neither should anybody force me into Krishna consciousness. All these different blockades or barricades I have already placed in my mind. And then is what I go into the satsanga. Why do I go into the satsanga? Not because I like the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. Nobody likes the philosophy of Krishna consciousness initially. Not because of I like so many devotees coming and associating. It's not that. But I like the prasadam there. I like the way the devotees are honoring me. These sort of tendencies first bring us close into Krishna consciousness. This particular aspect we should really remember. So therefore, when we preach to the new devotees, there is absolutely no book where Prabhupada has written, first tell him the 4 regulative principles. There we put the shutter down. Then we do not allow any soul to come into the house that Srila Prabhupada has built. So it is only by care and love and concern and the proper aspects of Krishna consciousness can bring the devotees together. Where the devotees are not together, their Maya enters. And for her, she is just like how needle enters into a banana. You are given the banana to eat, but there is already a needle in it in the form of Maya Devi. And when we go and bite it, what happens? What happens to our tongue? It starts bleeding because there's a needle already there in it. This needle is Srimati Maya Devi, and she should be honored. Of course, she is the Shakti of the Lord. So this is what the different aspect is, that only by means of Bhakti Yoga can one top up or keep Maya Devi in the side. She also doesn't like that she becomes an obstacle to us, to our devotional service. But she has to do her service to the Lord because that is a standing instruction she has got. So she has to do. So here it is mentioned, the process of Bhakti Yoga devotional service is the main river flowing down towards the sea of the absolute truth. The only way that the soul can connect itself or himself or herself to the super soul is only by means of this particular, particular mercy which is coming down from the spiritual world to the material world, is the chanting of the holy name. How many of you have actually seen that particular chart of the universal material world? I think in this forum only I have explained, or some 2-3 years back I had explained, right, Prabhu?
Yes,
So,
Mataji, you explained.
So when we see that universal chart, we can see that from earth, from Bhu, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is going, floating, it is going totally. And that chain is reaching Goloka directly. It is not even going via Vaikuntha Loka or any other Loka. Directly it is reaching Goloka. So it is coming down directly from there. And where is it getting invested? Where is the Hare Krishna Mahamantra getting invested? Any guesses for the devotees? Where is the Hare Krishna Mahamantra? Like we all know that Ganga came down to the material world, and when Ganga came down, she was totally caught up in the jata of Lord Shiva, so that her flow, her vegas, her urges are, really controlled, rather than otherwise the flow with which she is coming, it will totally eradicate the material existence. So any guesses?
It's Golakar Premadan Harinam Sankirtan. It comes definitely from Golok. And it's available only in the Earth planet.
Yes, Prabhu. But when it is coming down to Bhuloka, from Bhuloka, but where is it getting invested? We are not finding it in the open area. Where can it be possibly get invested? It needs to be.
Prabhu?
Yes, I am.
On our tongue, Mataji.
On our tongue.
I can't hear you quite well.
He's saying on our tongue.
Yeah. Okay. You're somewhere close. Fine. Somewhere close. Any other guesses? Okay. To break the ice, I'll only tell that it is getting invested in the hearts of the pure Vaishnavas.
Okay.
And when you hug the Vaishnavas or follow the instructions of the Vaishnavas, there is a heart-to-heart transaction happening there. It is just like you have a cough or a cold, how easily that flu gets transmitted. In the same way, this is a spiritual disease. When you hug the devotees, or when you pay obeisances to them, or you listen to their instructions, directly, unknowingly from their heart, this Hare Krishna Mahamantra gets stuck to ours. And then our chanting also increases. Therefore, the Shastras say that we should always serve the Vaishnavas. There are various ways to serve the Vaishnavas, but this is one of the means wherein we have to serve the Vaishnavas. When we serve the Vaishnavas, whatever what do you say? Whatever percentage of devotional service they have done, we also get the mercy of that. Therefore, it is quite important. So once we serve the Vaishnavas, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra gets an easy access into our hearts. There, Maya Devi also cannot work. That is the power of the holy name. She has to stand and look at Hare Krishna Maha Mantra getting seeped from one heart to the other heart. She just has to helplessly stand and look. So that is the great mercy that Hare Krishna Maha Mantra really has. And that this process of going from one heart to the other heart, then to the other heart, this contagious system is what is called as Bhakti Yoga. That is all it is. There is no particular gymnastics at all in Bhakti Yoga. As simple as that. So I do not have Bhakti. So what do? I just go and serve the Vaishnava so that I cultivate Bhakti. Because initially, as devotees, so many devotees told me, you have to cry when you're chanting, you have to beg the Lord to give you bhakti and all these things. Now, this bhakti is a very, unattainable task for a person like me. So what I thought, because I'm very good at shortcuts. So what I thought, okay, so it is said that Hare Krishna Maha Mantra should be, if we chant sincerely, then only the Lord will give us that Prema Bhakti. It is totally up to the mercy of the Lord, whether he will hold back, without giving this Prema Bhakti, and all this is what I have heard. So I thought, just like Indra went behind Surabhi and took mercy of Krishna, to forgive him because he did so much of nonsense in the Govardhan Leela. So in the same way, I thought, see, Shastras are showing us so much of examples. Why not imbibe that? I'll also become like Indra because I'm having more disqualifications like Indra. Apart from Indra. So I thought I will take up a Surabhi. And now who is this Surabhi for us? He or she can only be the Vaishnavas or the Vaishnavis. So once we take shelter of the Acharyas, the Vaishnavas and the Vaishnavis, then what happens is that for us to at least start, the desire to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra comes into our escape. So this is what we should actually think about. Bhakti Yoga is actually a very simple process. The only thing we have to do is take shelter of the Vaishnavas. Once we catch on to the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas, then things happen quite, affirmatively. Now here, it is said that Lord Kapila is summarizing the importance of the process of devotional service. Bhakti Yoga, as described before, is divided into 4 divisions, 3 in the material modes of nature and 1 in the transcendence, which is untinged by the modes of material nature. So devotional service is something which doesn't have tinges. It cannot be tinged at all. Now, if anybody is thinking that, okay, because of Krishna consciousness or because of doing devotional service, so and so hamperages have happened, it is just a problem of the mind. It is only because the mind is still wavering, and as such as it is the nature, chanchalam himana Krishna, that is a duty of the mind. So the mind will always waver, but by the practice of Bhakti Yoga, the intelligence gets stuck in its goal. That is what is important. The intelligence doesn't have any other gose, but it gets stuck in its goal. So once the intelligence is correctly sharpened by the process of Bhakti Yoga, then what happens is that very easy, even the mind keeps flickering, even the mind keeps wavering, the intelligence doesn't go at all. The intelligence is not wavered at all, or Bhakti Yoga process is still continued. We know the example of Prahlad Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj, a 5-year-old child, he was dissuaded so many times, though Narada Muni gave him the instructions of how to see the Lord, or how to get the Lord, or how to get the proximity of the Lord. Still, Narada Muni was the first person who tried to dissuade him. Then so many challenges came to him in the form of material things like hunger, thirst, etc., etc. But still, it never dissuaded him. Because his intelligence, which Narada Muni had given him, his intelligence was already sharpened well with the proper amount of knowledge. And there was no going back at all. So for this reason, why we should say that we are conditioned souls. So what happens to us is that we, just by doing chanting, maybe because it is the lack of a quality of our chanting, just by doing chanting only, maybe we cannot reach that particular level. We need so many ingredients. Can we make anything just with one ingredient and say that yes, it is very tasty? It doesn't happen. So many ingredients are required to make a very tasty, delicious item. So here also, in the bowl of our Bhakti Yoga, we have to add mercy, our chanting, service to the Vaishnavas. All these ingredients mixed together, it tastes very tasty. So, but the effort who has to do now? There has to be a goal. That effort has to be done. And how do we do that effort? I am very lazy. I'm not able to just get up early in the morning and do all these gymnastics. It is not possible for me. So what do? I take the association of the Vaishnavas. Easy way. Just take the association of the Vaishnavas. They will take us along with the flow. That's why most of the people, or some of the people, desire to stay in the dhams, be a dhamvasi. What is the reason? Because they find it that they can go along with the flow. There is no need to pressurize or anything. They know they need not exert themselves, because people around or devotees around will take them along with the flow. And this is what the whole aspect of Krishna consciousness is. We are in a yatra. We are in a travel. From this body is over. Now I'm coming to the next body. Okay, I've come in this particular body. Now in this body, again, there is a travel from the womb to the tomb. So in this travel of wombing and tombing and everything, I see some people who happen to be of like-mindedness. Once that like-mindedness things come, then what happens is that they themselves take us along with the wind. We just go swiftly. Here, Prabhupada says, devotional service mixed with the modes of material nature is a means for material existence, whereas devotional service without any desires of fruitive results and or empirical or any attempt to empirical philosophy is pure devotional service. We know that Indra's devotional service is totally mixed. Anywhere there is a trouble, Indra goes and puts his head first. He himself gets caught over there. Now, that is an example. Indra is an example set by the Lord himself. So, we are not here to criticize Indra, but we are here to know the mistakes that Indra has done in the various pages of the Bhagavatam and rectify ourselves from that, not to repeat the same thing. So that is why all these negatives and the positives, all these examples are shown in the Bhagavatam. For what reason? So that, okay, that is a mistake that is done, which I should not repeat. I don't know if most of the devotees are, have done this particular thing. But okay, now my child, my son or daughter has finished the 4th standard. He is going to the 5th standard. When he is going to the 5th standard, before he goes to the 5th standard itself, I take the books of those devotee children or some devotee children who are already in the 5th standard. Why is that so? Some of them are so that the textbooks need not be bought again, but it is inevitable. Textbooks need to be bought because of the writings and everything. But why is it that those books are taken again? The teacher is anyway going to give the notes. Then why is it taken? So that some unit tests or something which is done. So if they have the worksheets or the test papers of them, then it is easy for them to learn. The mistakes or the corrections or the correct aspects, whatever the child who has finished the 5th has done. So if I take those test papers, it is easy for me to learn. I can learn from his mistakes. This always happens. When somebody goes for an interview and comes back, we ask them, I'm going to face the next interview. We ask them, what is the question? So those who are good will say, I did this mistake. You please do not do that mistake. This is what their intention is. So why do we take that help of the seniors? So that we do not repeat the mistake, so that we are A1. So all these things are happening. We learn through association. But if we are away from the association, we totally fall down because that proximity is not there to correct us. We as devotees or as human beings rather, forget the devotee aspect. As devotees, we need to remember that we got to take guidelines each and every step that we step. Every time we need guidelines, there should be somebody to hold our hand and take us in the right direction, because life is full of crossroads. Which road to take? This is the challenge I'm facing. Which road to take? So these crossroads confuse us and sometimes even drown us in the total, all the hallucinations and difficulties of the material existence. At that time, a person who is not drowned is standing there near us. He is in the form of Paramatma, but we do not look up to him. Why? Because of our own ego. We think that I will solve the problem. Prakriti kriyamanani. So I will solve the problem. This is my problem. But actually, there is nothing like that. Everything is orientated to us by the Paramatma. So when we take shelter of Paramatma, what happens is that the channel is correctly open to us. This is where we lack. And once we see that the channel is open to us, or we take shelter of the Paramatma, that is called as devotional service, as simple as that. So when we are doing everything, we don't have to specifically grind ourselves to do this particular verse or think that I have to do devotional service. So devotees, we have to remember that devotional service is not just chanting, it's not just doing Mangalarti. Devotional service is practicing what chanting has given us as a taste. So theory is chanting. When we practicalize chanting, that is after the chanting hours also, we are always in the good mood, or still in Sattva-guna stage, still in Sattva-guna stage, wherein we are able to keep the cool of our mind. We are able to see all the living entities as the Lord's part and parcel. Though there is something barging at us, still we are, Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam. All these, if we are able to practice, that is called as devotional service. I might be chanting 64 rounds, but if my character is not good, nothing is of use. All my 64 rounds are not coming to me for help at the proper time that it should come to help. We know that Karna, he knew all the arts, all the martial arts he knew. But at the proper time that he needed to say the mantra to actually shoot the arrow against Arjuna, of course, Lord's intervention is there. So at that very moment, he forgot the mantra. So what is the use of all these years of, great treacherous hard work he had done? And that too, he had been Prachana Vesha, saying that he's a Brahmana and he used to take education. So all these different aspects are there. At the right time, at the right words to come, it should be, it's only by means of devotional service. Character formation comes only by means of devotional service. It doesn't come from the womb of the mother. It comes only by means of devotional service, because we come to realize in devotional service that I am the soul and not the body. So what the others who are around me are also souls who are struggling like me, and they are trying to keep up with their body just like I'm trying to keep up mine. So this particular thing is very much important for us to maintain our mental equilibrium. Forget about being goody-goody in front of others. The first point is that how we can be good to ourselves, how we can be merciful to ourselves first. For that, just follow the path of devotional service, which is very easy. And what is that? Just listen to the instructions of the Vaishnavas. Once we listen to the instructions of the Vaishnavas, it is as simple as that. Prabhu, what should I do? This is my problem. Okay, this is what you should do. The path is very easy to follow. Hare Krishna. Prabhu, is there another verse, or any devotees have suggestions or questions?
We'll go on one more verse, Mother.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, 3:32-38. Jivasya samsritir bahavir avidya karma nirmitaha yasya anga pravishan atma naveda gatimatmanaha. Translation. There are varieties of material existence for the living entity according to the work he performs in ignorance or forgetfulness of his real identity. My dear mother, If anyone enters into that forgetfulness, he is unable to understand where his movements will end. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila
Srila
Prabhupada.
Prabhupada.
Devotees can please.
Any devotees want to read the purport?
Prabhuji, can I read Prabhuji?
Oh, very much. Well, yes, Mataji, it's your service.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Danur Pranams, Mataji. Hare Krishna. It's been a long time.
Mataji, your
Purport by-
question needs to be answered. Still, I have not finished reading it.
Okay, it's okay, Mataji. Take your time and just let me know, Mataji.
I'll do the
Because
leaves.
that's the important topic which I'm getting confused so much.
Mahatattva, na?
Yeah.
Rameswar Prabhu can better help you because he is good in philosophy. I'm totally, not there.
Oh, thank you so much, Mataji. I shall contact him also.
Yeah.
Prabhuji,
Mataji,
please give your time for me, Prabhuji, for this question.
Prepare
I
prepare one evening, Prasad. I'll come and explain you.
Hari bol. Sure, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Once one enters into the continuation of material existence, it is very difficult to get out. Therefore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead comes himself or sends his bona fide representative, and he leaves behind scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, so that the living entities hovering in the darkness of nescience may take advantage of the instructions, the saintly persons, and the spiritual masters, and thus be freed. Unless the living entity receives the mercy of the saintly persons, the spiritual master or Krishna, it is not possible for him to get out of the darkness of material existence. By his own endeavor, it is not possible. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So here, Kapila he tells Mother Devahuti that there are varieties of material existence for the living entity according to the work he performs in ignorance or forgetfulness of his real identity. The main reason for our sadness, or rather why we are put into this dukhalaya, the main reason for that is our forgetfulness of the Lord itself, our forgetfulness of whom we are actually. No problem, Mataji, you can. Hare Krishna. So that is the main reason of our whatever material calamities or whatever difficulties we are facing, that is the main thing. It is just like Prabhupada has given that example, right? That the child is lost in the zoo or in some public place. So many people give him temporary, pacifications. But unless and until he reaches to the Supreme, to his own father, till then he is not pacified. He can be temporarily pacified, but permanently it can never happen. Same way, our very existence itself is something related to the Lord. We cannot stay apart from the Lord. And because we are staying apart from the Lord is what we have to really undergo all the different calamities of material existence. So here it is said that once one enters into the continuation of material existence, it is very difficult to get out. Material world, because of its attachments, temporary attachments, material world is just like a whirlpool. I mean, something goes into the whirlpool, it just keeps, turboing, just like the washing machine turbo drum. It just keeps turboing and then just sucks the whole thing down, wherein the thing itself is lost. The identity of the thing is totally lost. In the same way, material existence, once we start liking it or have some attachment to it, then it totally takes us away from divinity. So here it is being said that therefore the Supreme Personality of Godhead comes himself or sends his bona fide representative. Why does the Lord come himself? To save the material souls or the existing material living entities from this particular ocean or from this particular turbomatic situation of the whirlpool. Suck them out from there so that they are placed in a better position to serve the Supreme Lord. Material nature has a particular quality, it makes us forget. Of course, the job of Maya Devi, it makes us forget why we are here. In the last chapter, we learned about Indra. Indra, he is very happy with his piglet wife, Mrs. Piglet, baby piglets. He is all very happy. Why is it? Though he was the lord of the heavenly planets, the king of the heavenly planets rather, still he didn't want to go back to Indraloka. He said, no, my wife, Pig, Mrs. Pig and baby pigs and all, they will have difficulty if I am not there. He totally forgot his existence. This is what material nature has a quality about. We are actually living entities, totally pure in nature and always wanting to serve the Lord. But because of the modes of material existence touching us, because of this reason is what we have forgotten our real identity. So a person who is in jail for umpteen number of years, sometimes he even forgets because of the mental trauma, he even forgets what is his name, who is his father. His father might be a great capable person, but the person has forgotten that he is having an existence apart from the jail life. This is what we are, totally into the jail of material existence. But we have a better life apart from this particular jail, which is totally high there. Tad Dhamma Paramam Mama, the Lord's holy abode, that we conveniently forget. Especially this is a drawback which the Hinduism culture is actually having. Because children are not trained to even recite verses of the Bhagavad Gita right from childhood. There should be a proper, systematic, rigid rule for that. Just like how they have these other classes and catechism classes and all that. So same way, even the Sanatana Dharma followers or the Hindu Dharma followers should also have this. Okay, now this is, by saying this, government is not going to establish this particular forum. So what we should do? As parents, we should try to inculcate, in spite of having any number of studies, we should try to inculcate that they are at least reading one verse of the Bhagavad Gita or the Bhagavatam, whatever it may be. This much has to be seen by the parent in a close view. That is what spiritual education is all about. Material education, by default, it is there. But spiritual education, it is not at all there in a family. And this particular responsibility rests totally onto the shoulders of the mother or the lady of the house. This is what is quite important. It is said, no, in Bhagavatam, there is that verse that the Dvag Visargo Janataga Viplavo. Only the ladies can create a revolution there and bring the children into God consciousness. One thing has to be remembered, the family that prays together always stays together. So this is very much we should take care of. And here, Prabhupada says that the Supreme Personality of Godhead doesn't directly come in his own form to spread the Gospels of Bhagavad Gita. He comes through, by sending a spiritual master or any senior or any concerned serious devotees will be there for but we should go and seek help. Then the help is ready. But when we do not know that we need a spiritual life also, that is where the total failure of human life comes. So human life is only meant for spiritual understanding, for spiritual realization. Everything else is just secondary. Hare Krishna, how to recite slokas and how much it is important to recite slokas for someone. Okay, I think we can take the question after this. So here Prabhupada says, unless a living entity receives the mercy of the saintly persons, again, we come back to saintly people, the spiritual master or Krishna, it is not possible for him to get out of the darkness of material existence. So this sort of seeking help should be very much important. What did Prahlad Maharaj do? What did Dhruva Maharaj do? They all took help from Narada Muni, from the spiritual masters, everyone. So each and every, let it be even Priyavrata Maharaj. So everybody took help from somebody who is superior to them. So help is always needed because this conditioning that we are into, material nature really conditions us into, totally she captivates us and we try to condition ourselves within that. That is it. That is enough. Once there was this particular pastime in Mahabharata. It's a long pastime. I'll just make it very short. That is this, when Krishna and Arjuna, they are fighting. I mean, Krishna is riding the chariot, and Arjuna, he's fighting. And we all know that Arjuna's arrow, once it hits the target properly. Now, Arjuna was told to kill one of the elephants or something like that. So Arjuna killed that elephant. So on the way that the arrow is going, Krishna said, kill Arjuna. So on the way that arrow is going, this arrow touched a particular, on the tree, there was a nest of a bird. So this arrow touched the nest, and this nest totally fell down. Okay. This nest and the baby chicks and everybody just fell down, and they were really cawing, helplessly on the ground. The whole nest is scattered and everything. So what did the Lord actually do? Though Arjuna's arrow hit the nest, because the force with which it hit the nest, and then it hit the target of killing one particular animal or something, an elephant or something, then the Lord made it turn, come back, and cut off the, these elephants, they wear a big bell, thongs of, very big bell, they wear it around their neck. The elephant neck is quite big. So that arrow just cut the bell which was hanging on the elephant's chain, a rope chain, and that bell was quite big. It totally came and covered this baby birds, and the mother bird was completely, completely covered. And Mahabharata war is happening hither and thither, but nothing happened to the baby birds and the mother bird inside that. Now, it was very difficult for them initially, but they got adjusted to it, and they were happily living because they didn't have to build a nest. There was a ready-made cave for them, and then they were happily living into it. This is how we living entities are all. We are conditioned. Initially, it is very difficult for us to go somewhere and get adjusted to. But after a couple of days or a couple of weeks, we try to survive. This is what is called as the survival of the fittest. We try to survive in that particular area, and that is why we are called as conditioned souls. Then again, if somebody tells, okay, I'm going to give you a better room, you can shift there. We'll say, no, this room which is there, that is quite enough. Now I do not want to shift, because we are conditioned ourselves into that particular single small room. Though you are given a palace, you might hesitate. You don't want to shift. So conditioning happens only because devotional service is not in practice. So once devotional service comes in practice, then surrender comes in practice. So this is, once surrender is there, then there is no conditioning, because we are no more conditioned souls. Then we are already liberated, mukta atmas. So this is what the efficacy of devotional service is. Devotional service cannot happen on my own. I need a mentor. I need a pal for me to do my devotional service. This is what we should actually take. So take a pal, catch hold of a pal or a friend or a buddy, as we call it. And so that chanting is also improved. Devotional service is also properly trafficked and channelized. Hare Krishna. And yeah, Prabhu, there was a question in the chat. Let's see that. How to recite the slokas, and how much it is important to recite slokas for someone who knows the meaning of it. Recitation of the slokas is actually, most of the slokas are in the form of prayers. So when we recite the sloka, we are also offering prayers to the Lord. Now, and it is not necessary that we should, it is not easy, rather, that we should recite or learn to recite the slokas. Let us first keep hearing the slokas. Maybe you can record and then you can keep hearing it. Through the constant hearing, Shravanam, through the constant hearing, you will naturally learn the slokas. And usually why we use the slokas is when we need to do prayers to the Lord or offer prayers to the Lord, or when we need to preach. For these many reasons is what we usually recite the slokas. But the main aspect of sloka learning is basically to offer prayers to the Lord, because our prayers are totally conditioned and may be contaminated, but the Lord is all pure. So what do? We have to offer him something which he is worth of. So what we do is that we offer the prayers of the acharyas or the devotees. Like we have Kunti prayers, Bhishma prayers, Nagapatni prayers. All these Bhagavatam is full of prayers itself. Each and every canto has some of the other prayers. So when we recite, learn and recite. Now, how do we learn? What we have, and each and every sloka or most of the slokas, they have a meter. There are different meters for different slokas. So the recitation is also different. Like some will be having, just 3 or 4 words in the first line. That is how it goes. The others will be having, what do we have that, Brahma Samhita, Andantarastha Paramanu Chayantarastham. So this many that syllables are conjoined there. So different slokas have different ways of recitation. But there are not many ways, just 4 or 5 ways there are. So all that is, like it depends upon the length or the meter of the first sloka. Based upon that, we can decipher how the other lines have to be read. So this maybe we can take it up as a different class itself. But yes, sloka recitation with the proper meter reading and the proper tone and intonation, it is quite important. Yeah, the 7 major, Anustub, Arishtub, all this is there, but I didn't want to really mention all this because it is all in the high level. So all these different meters are there. So therefore the slokas, Sanskrit slokas have a different enam, or what do you say, have a different intonation itself when we are reading. That is quite important. So those who have studied the Sanskrit in their schools, for them it will be easy. But those who have not taken Sanskrit in their schools, maybe they can approach the devotees and the devotees can really help them to recite the slokas in the proper manner. I hope, Prabhu, I have answered your question. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. What is it? It was said in the last sloka that there are 4 divisions of Bhakti Yoga. Can you please describe a bit? These 4 divisions of Bhakti Yoga is actually described in the previous verses. So I haven't gone through the verses, but in the previous verses, this particular 4 divisions are clearly being described.
Mataji, in this verse, in this purport itself, Prabhupada is explaining three modes of first 3 divisions are is mixed with the 3 modes. That means bhakti with sattva-guna, bhakti with rajoguna, bhakti with tamoguna, and then the 4th one is transcending all these 3 modes, which is transcendental.
Yes.
In the
Shuddha
purport
Sattva.
itself,
Yes.
The 4th one is Shuddha Sattva.
in the purport itself, Prabhupada is explaining. Who asked that question?
Vivek Prabhu has asked.
Vivek Prabhu. In the purport itself, it was there, Prabhu. Okay, Krishna. Any other question? Thank you so much, Mataji. After only couple of weeks, but it's for us, it's very long gap.
Same here,
and the bhakti, from the beginning, you explained it so beautifully, the sweetness of bhakti yoga, and why we are not able to experience that, or anarthas about that. Yes. And also we explained about the importance of devotee care. That is what inspiring new devotees to come to Krishna consciousness.
That is very much important.
Yeah, and the transmission of bhakti, that tips you gave how to hug the devotees and get the bhakti from them. That is a wonderful, I think. And ingredients also really interesting about the bhakti. Different flavors, different bhakti. So it is really amazing. And I really like the thing you said, the flow of bhakti. Where we have to go with the flow if we are with the association. The biggest, the most appropriate analogy might be when we are traveling in suburban trains in Mumbai. If we just stay outside, Radhanath Swami Maharaj gave always that. Automatically we'll go in. If you come on the line, then automatically we'll get down like that.
Correct. We go, they carry us.
Yeah. And today I was reading this Matru Panchagam by Shankaracharya about the mother.
Uh-huh.
It's really amazing. It's you know about that sloka, 5 slokas Shankaracharya wrote when he finally met his mother. Before he reached his mother, left the body. Matru Panchagam, it's called. So
Uh-huh.
amazing. Is everyone, if you sincerely read that with meaning, definitely we will cry. Because he's telling each and everything how much you suffered for me when I was in your mother home. I kicked like this, I like this. I didn't even give you one nice food. Now I am giving this raw rice to your mouth like this. Something it was amazing. Matra Panchagam. So you were saying about the ladies' revolution. What is that?
Prabhu, ladies' revolution, I didn't get you. Which one?
Okay, somewhere you were saying that. Okay, I didn't. I was
For the lady in the family is doing. So
Yeah.
Hmm.
Not a revolution or anything, Prabhu. That is, ladies can, because ladies can make a difference in the house.
Yeah, they are
I mean,
influencers,
to
more
bring up,
influencers.
cultivate Krishna consciousness, yeah, and instill it in the future generation.
Correct. Thank you so much, Mataji. Any Anita Mataji, you are a big time speaker now. Any extra expert comments?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
What happened? Prabhuji, I didn't get. Did you say anything?
No, I said you are a big time speaker now. You are a universal speaker now, international. So any expert
Prabhuji,
comments?
where is Prabhuji? I didn't speak anywhere, Prabhuji. Very well. Thank
Hare
you so
Krishna.
much, Prabhuji. So this was, thank you, Mataji. Actually, it's been a long time, but still, I really relish your class every time when you give. Thank you so much for all your association also. And please keep me in your prayers. As you when you were saying that the ladies' revolution is there, I was just thinking of myself. Only one person when in the family is doing, then what will happen? I was just thinking. So
The uniqueness of Shampalika Mataji's class is she never comes with preparation. It's all extempore and practical.
on the spot, yeah.
These two elements, she's always practical and extempore. Even if we are covering, that's the truth, Mataji.
No,
Yeah.
no, Prabhu.
No, actually, since Mataji is a teacher, no, Prabhuji, she delivers so nicely. Like she's teaching for small children, no. So that's why that for me, I'm saying. So that's why I'm getting it into my mind, whatever she says. So it's very easy to understand also. Thank
Yeah,
you so
I'm
much,
saying
Mataji.
from what is practical, Prabhu, what I am doing, I'm just saying that is all.
Hare Krishna, Shubhikar Prabhuji.
Hare
Prabhuji is
Krishna.
also very busy nowadays. He's
Hare
delivering
Krishna.
so many classes.
I missed Mataji's class, but I feel I just made it. So we have not met you for a long time.
Right.
Actually, yesterday was with Guru Maharaj, so he gave some 1 or 2 good points. Can I add on? He gave some specific message for all the devotees from Chennai.
Yes, Mataji.
He was telling first time when he went to USA, he went to a place called Parramatta. And the same place Srila Prabhupada also had gone. So when Prabhupada stopped in the signal, he told, Parramatta reminds me of Krishna. Some Pramatta, one sloka is there in Sanskrit.
Yes. Pramatta Muchayate.
Yeah.
Yes. Fourth
So
canto.
he said, I'm remembering Krishna by saying Parramatta. And when Guru Maharaj went, Japtak Maharaj, he told by seeing this Parramatta, Param Mata, I'm remembering of Radharani. So all realize, so they get something out of every place. And then he said, once Radha Govind Maharaj went to a nursing home. He said, nursing home, Prahlad, actually nursing home, but it's not nursing home. He said it is, nursing Dev is staying inside. That's why whoever goes inside, he will protect and he will come out successful. Like that, then he told Guru Maharaj said, you should tell Krishna every day, whether you like me or whether you hate me, but you can't ignore me. That's Asle Slava Padaratam. This he has to, every day we have to talk to Krishna so that we won't get out of this problem. So Guru Maharaj blessed everybody, and Guru Maharaj wanted everyone to become fast Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, and Bhakti Vedanta. So I thank Rameswar Prabhu. He had, I think, requested Shanta Gopi Mataji. So they are doing a lot of services all over Palakkad. I gave so many names. Murari Gauranga Prabhu, Ramakapala Prabhu. So those who are not done Bhakti Shastri, they're trying to help out in some, some mode. That 50 questions, summative questions and all. So even Gulf, they want to come now. So I connected to Govinda Prabhu and about 20 devotees I gave. Sham Chaitanya, who had done also Nectar Bhakti Shastri, they're ready to help for Bhakti Vaibhav and Bhakti Vedanta. Guru Maharaj says, Prabhupada has instructed me that all my disciples should become Diksha Guru. So I got a shock. Oh, Diksha Guru only can be sannyasis. No. For Kali Yuga, I want also Grahasthas become Diksha Guru. Then only you will know who will be able to keep up their promise. But if you want to go through GBC, it takes a long time. So I want all of you to support me. I was really getting a shock. See, we are only students, we can only serve you. He said, now the thing is changed. I want all of you to somehow become Bhakti. Guru Maharaj has already become Bhakti Vedanta. Now, only that Bhakti Sarvabhauma, I think they are still not made the syllabus that they are making. So Guru Maharaj wants all his disciples to and everyone to become. So he spoke about half an hour on that. So I thank Rameswar. He only had told Mataji and they came home and within 4 hours, they took that 8 questions I wrote and gave it to them. So they said, even Mataji, Shampaling Mataji, if you want Bhaktivedanta, Bhakti Vaibhav and all, they are ready to support. They are doing online 3 months course, Bhakti Vedanta, Bhakti Vaibhav, and in 6 months they will get it. It is not shortcut. It is because some people are not able to study and write. For that, Guru Maharaj is told. And similarly, after that 6 cantos, another 6 cantos also, they will train for 3 months and try to get it. So then within 1 or 2 years, we should get all the 3 and then for the go the 4th and all go into the market. Don't try to become safety and all. I am taking so much risk. I got 70,000 disciples all over the world. You know why I am doing it? Because Srila Prabhupada, when he was in his last stage, one devotee from Karnataka went, Shyama Chakrabarti. He said, Prabhupada is dying because his Vigraha is in the Vrindavan temple. Then Tamal Maharaj said, you cannot speak. Guru Maharaj cannot talk. Then Guru Maharaj called him and he told Prabhupada, you are leaving the body because your photo, your Vigraha removed. He said, I want to take the sins from my disciples. That's why I'm doing this. Even after I leave the body, I will still come and take the sins. So Guru Maharaj said, I am also in the same mood. I am giving initiations in Bangladesh, 5,000. I know many people may break, but once they initiated, I know they will get the human body. They will somehow get realization at some point. So Guru Maharaj is so compassionate. I was really crying. How many people have initiated and many are not doing, but he's telling no problem. Because they got connected, they will go back home one day, definitely. Like that he's telling. So Guru Maharaj got a lot of compassion, a lot of plans. So about half an hour he was talking on this. And about 5-6 devotees, Mataji and Prabhu are only on this. Shantagopi Mataji and Rajeshwar Prabhu go to different places, bring them to Guru Maharaj and writing it. So Shampali Mataji, in case you are interested, and they will support. They are going to come. Oh, left, no? So they are ready to go to Dubai, Sharjah. I spoke to Ati Chandra Prabhu also. He has done, I think, Bhakti Shastri. The next one he's doing. But Guru Maharaj wants us to accelerate fast.
We'll discuss that.
Yeah, Prabhu. Okay.
Any questions, comments? We'll wind up.
This Vivek Prabhu is asking a lot of good questions. And I think for the first time, Prabhu, Vivek Prabhu from Ajman, Sharjah.
No,
But he's from Bangalore.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Namaskara Prabhu. Yen samachara. Chennagidira Prabhu.
You are from Bangalore, no?
I'm from Chennai.
Chennai.
Tamil dana ninga?
No, I'm Hindi.
Like
I work. मैं यूपी से हूँ, but currently भी चेन्नई में रह रहा हूँ.
तो ब्रजवासी. Okay, thank you Prabhu. बहुत धन्यवाद.